Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're actually doing this.
You guys said, in the back of your minds, you said, they got a live show this weekend. They're not going to do an episode. They're going to leave us hanging.
Yeah, they just did a live episode. They got another one coming up. There's no way.
And guess what? This was supposed to be a Patreon episode for one of our friends, and I need to reach out to him and tell him that we had this, we didn't have time to research this topic because of the shortness. We had this one kind of put together already. That's the story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking to it. I'm sorry. We knew the live episodes are cool, but they kind of suck, I think.
Well, it's more of an experience being there as opposed to listening to it.
That's what I told my wife after the first time we had sex.
Exactly.
I said, this is more of an experience because
think of it the long run.
We are going to go to Steak and Shake after this. We're going to have chili and Frisco melts, and then we're going to come back here and we're going to watch movies. The actual sex thing isn't going to last very long, but I do think you're beautiful, and I love the way your hair smells. But this whole entire thing is more of an experience, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Rob worked all day. He came straight here.
Yeah, right after work.
He's still wearing his maid outfit, and I'm so thankful that he came here on my day. This is my day off. I don't work Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah. And this is my birthday week. Fucking
yeah, it is.
Party it up.
Your birthday is
Wednesday.
The
24th.
All right.
The birthday of champions.
We're going to party on down. Rob's going to be 44.
I am.
That sucks.
You gave me just 12 years. That's
right.
Yeah, 30, 32.
We did have the live show.
We did. It went pretty well. We had a good turnout.
The most fun of the whole entire thing.
Oh my gosh.
There was a crackhead. She wasn't a crackhead for sure. There was just some crazy lady there
with no teeth.
She just showed up and she kept on taking her clothes off and putting them back on. But the thing about her taking her clothes off, she was wearing like fucking 15 layers of clothes.
I know. She was fucking lit too.
She had black angel wings, and she kept on pulling her pant legs up and picking scabs and getting blood all over the place,
showing her stitches.
It was so awesome. She said, "I broke my goddamn knee. What do you want me to do?" I don't know.
One of my friends told her that he taught calligraphy. He was a professional calligraphy teacher, and then
calligraphist.
Yeah, and then his girlfriend trained salamanders.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
what my salamander can do. When its tail disappears, that means it's all the way in my butt.
And he said his name was David Blaine.
Yeah, I said that.
And she was like, "Damn it, David!"
David. And
so great.
One thing we did was we got back-to-back 1-star reviews on iTunes today. This is the first time this has happened in the history of Brohio, but this was another Dan Brown.
History, man. We're making it.
I would like to read this new review, you guys. It's by Earthman1. That's ERFMAN1. And it's titled Obscene Language. I downloaded several of the podcasts because the topics looked interesting. The first one I tried to listen to had so many F-bombs and GDs in the first 5 minutes that I immediately deleted this podcaster from my iPod. Do you really think profanity in every sentence makes you edgy or cool? I came for the content and you provided obscenity. Goodbye. You are not worth my time to listen to.
I love how people think that that people cuss just to be like edgelords. I cuss because I have really low intelligence.
I don't have a very big vocabulary.
Exactly. If I don't know what to say, I'm just dropping some profanities.
Can't think of another word for big. Oh. So here's what we need you to do. Hop on iTunes, leave us a good review to offset these two bad ones.
I know. Eventually our overall rating is going to be a 1.
It is. It's almost there. We're on a 1.2.
Yeah,
we don't want it to dip below that.
No.
We appreciate your iTunes reviews. They do wonders for us. We had a fantastic show with Murder and Such. We have another live show coming up this weekend, October 27th, with Hillbilly Horror Stories in Twisted Philly. Very few tickets remain. The link is going to be in the description of the episode. This is the Firebird Grill?
Firehouse Grill.
Firehouse Grill. This is the last time, Rob.
This is the last time you're going to hear this.
I think that's in West...
Blue Ash.
Not
West Blue Ash, but Blue Ash.
Blue Ass, Ohio. You can go there. They're famous for their waffles there in Blue Ass, Ohio. You can do a Google search of Blue Waffle, and you can see how delicious these waffles are. Next, we'd like to say thank you to our new Patreon subscribers. Well, first, I would like to say, if this is your first time listening to the Brohio podcast...
You scared me there with that one.
Fast forward to about the 15-minute mark. That's when you're going to get the content. From the beginning of the episode until 15 minutes is absolute fucking nonsense.
Yeah, we do housekeeping early in the episode.
We do zero housekeeping, and our wives get mad at us.
That's very true too.
So Fast forward about 15 minutes, then you'll get the, the good stuff about the Coons family massacre or the Kunz family massacre. Kunz. Coons.
I'll say Coons.
Cunts.
No T.
You keep the T.
You keep the T.
Thank you, Destiny Garces. Garces. That's a hard last name to pronounce.
Look at this fucking next one. That's
Destiny, it is your destiny to listen to the Brohio podcast, and it is our destiny to bring you fabulous content. I'm sorry about your last name. I'm not sorry about your first name because that is a very easy name to pronounce. But nonetheless, thank you for your Patreon pledge.
And the fabulous content thing is totally subjective.
Yes.
And next we have Zach Sadenwasser. Sadwacker.
Sadenwasser.
There you go.
Sadenwasser. Sadasser.
Sadenwasser sounds good.
Zach Sadasser, thank you so much for your Patreon pledge. Amanda Wilkes. Amanda, we do appreciate your Patreon pledge as well.
Joseph Osley, thank you.
And one of our old buddies from high school. Actually, he was a few grades ahead of us. Gary Rains, thank you for your Patreon pledge. The thing about Gary Rains, he probably doesn't remember this because he was mostly fucked up in high school, and he was a lot. But the first time I ever got drunk was in like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Yes.
And he lived there. And he just we went there to play cards, like that King's drinking game.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just a fucking table and like a deep freezer. I'm like, I'm going to fucking die tonight. And they're like, no, man, this is going to be fun. And we fucking got drunk and we went to Monty's Roast Beef. And we ate there. That place is long gone now.
I don't think I've ever even heard of that before.
Okay. But they were beer fucking each other, and they beer fucked me and shattered the entire top of my Bud Light. Like the entire fucking neck of it shattered off. And they're like, oh, sorry, man. I'm like, I don't fucking care. And I just tipped it up and started fucking drinking it. They're like, no. It's like they're taking care of the
glass and all.
Yeah. It's like they're taking care of the retarded little brother. I'm just trying to fit in. I'm like 14. They're like 24. I'm trying to get in where I can fit in. You feel me?
I feel you.
Don't slow me down, Gary Rains. Don't slow me down, brother.
Cramping his style.
Yeah.
Next and last, we have... Actually, no, I think you got another one underneath there.
Yeah, we do.
Either way, Lynn Ann Price, thank you very much.
We appreciate you, Miss Price. And Jorge Madrano. Thank you, Georgie Madrano, for your Patreon pledge. We genuinely appreciate it, buddy. Next, we got the article for you, Rob. This is a funny one. Stolen in Kansas City. A 10-foot-long inflatable model of a human colon.
I think I saw this.
Come and get it, boys. Why would somebody steal a giant inflatable model of a human butthole?
Why wouldn't you?
Colon? Officials at the University of Kansas Cancer Center don't know. They just want it back. I want my colon back, colon back, colon back, colon back. I want my colon back, colon back. The inflatable colon valued at $4,000. Why don't you try shopping around for ass before you just drop fucking $4,000, buddy?
Who's your inflatable colon guy? I can get you a better deal.
No shit. I'll give you a real colon for $4,000. You just hang that thing up on a fucking fucking laundry line outside. That's the real colon. That's the real thing. They stole the $4,000 one. We got the real one out there. The inflatable colon valued at $4,000 or 200 bitcoins was taken from the bed of a pickup truck parked in the Brookside area of Kansas City. The inflatable colon is owned by the Cancer Coalition and is used as an educational tool to teach people about colon cancer. It was in Kansas City. It was in Kansas City for a walk/run event scheduled for Saturday in Swoop Park. Colorectal cancer screening is the most powerful weapon we have against colorectal cancer, John Ashcraft, D.O., surgical oncologist at the University of Kansas Cancer Center, said in a press release Friday. Woo, that was a mouthful.
Good job.
So is this one. Colon cancer is a tough subject for many people to talk about, and the giant 150-pound, 10-foot-long inflatable colon is a great conversation starter. The Cancer Coalition ships the item across the country for walkers and runners to see and learn about the progression of colon cancer in a unique way, according to the press release. Anyone, and I mean anyone, that has seen this inflatable colon, or if they find it, they're asked to call the Kansas City Police Department.
That's a wholesome story.
God, and if you are not, I would say, around the age of 40, get your colon checked. That is such a curable cancer, but untreated, it will fucking kill you. If you need someone to stick their finger in your ass that you are comfortable with, reach out to us, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. We will stick our fingers up your ass. We have no idea what we're feeling for.
We are not doctors. Oh, we're kind of professionals at it.
We are. And I know there's a G-spot in there, so either way,
got to find the prostate.
This is going to work out for you. And if you start, like jerking your gherkin a little bit, I say, that's all right, buddy. We're just checking it out.
We're the ones that are going to end up with smelly fingers. What do you have to lose?
It is. And I got really short fingernails, so I'm not too worried about the doo-doo getting underneath my fingernails. I'm not super worried about it.
Yeah, me neither.
So, yeah, we talked to you about the reviews. Check us out on YouTube, at Brohio Podcast, and we now have a Twitch channel. Whew. The handle is at Brohio Podcast. We've done nothing with it yet, but go subscribe to our Twitch channel.
We're planning big things.
We are. Maybe. And that's it for the shit show at the beginning of the episode.
That saved you guys 5 minutes.
This massacre, family massacre, is the biggest cousin kissing brother uncle fucking good time you've heard in a long time. I promise.
It's a good one.
Have we done any super incest stuff?
No.
I don't think we have either.
Unfortunately.
We kicked around a lot of stuff for this episode. But I called Rob last night and I said, "Hey Rob, I think I got a barn burner for you, brother."
Yeah.
He said, "Baby girl, put it on me. What would I do without you?" I said, "We're going to do it, buddy." He said, "Let's do it."
You gave me a little synopsis and I was already reeled in.
I said, "They're all having sex with each other and they're old people." He said, "All right.
I'm in."
Like lemonparty.org? I said, "Yeah, buddy, just like Lemon Party. A bunch of old men suck each other's dicks and stuff." He said, "Oh, yeah.
Like, get out of my head.
Can I have a bite of it or no? Or how's it going to work?" This episode takes us to the middle of America, Athens, Wisconsin.
Small town, real small town.
We've got cheese and we've got Brett Favre.
That's really about it.
And beyond that, we're really not sure what the fuck's going on. And I'm not sure if it's a bunch of goddamn hillbillies in Wisconsin like it is in Perth, Florida. I think there's a lot of hillbillies in Florida, right?
Sure.
West Virginia.
Alabama.
Roll motherfucking Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Buckeyes. Got that shit blown out by fucking Purdue Boilermakers.
I laughed so hard.
I don't fucking care anymore. The Bengals kept me up for 7 minutes last night. I said, "All right, that's a wrap, boys. Going to bed."
I just saw my little ticker on my phone and I saw it. I was like, I'm not even going to turn it on.
No,
turn it on.
It was fucking bad.
Damn it.
But the population of Athens, Wisconsin, was around 1,000 people. That's it.
That is a tiny town.
A lot of reports I read said it was a lot smaller than that, closer to like 800 or 900. That's not many people at all.
Still not even 1,000. That's wild.
That's no one. But now what could such a small, quaint, backwoods town be hiding? Not a lot. They were a close-knit community. They were all very close to one another, except for one family. The Kunz family, or the Coons family, or the Kunz family.
Coons.
K-U-N-Z, the Coons family.
Coons. Yeah, there we go.
It was a warm summer night in Athens, Wisconsin. The people of this community were busy celebrating their motherfucking freedom.
Woo!
And that's how I sound edgy, Earthman One. I cuss. That's how I'm trying to impress people.
You know why? Because this is America.
This is America, and also, this is my fucking microphone, Earthman. You and Dan Brown should have butt sex with one another.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
Send me the link. I will click on it for sure. Now, the people of the community, they were celebrating their freedom because it was Independence Day, July 4th of all the days, 1987. And that was the year that the delicious Nickalicious came barreling out of his mama's belly.
Yep.
She said, "I think I got a fart," and then just like Spaceballs, I fucking tore up out of that motherfucker. I said, "Here I am."
Let's see here. I would have been like
14.
I'd have been like 8 or 9 months old at this point, so... Yeah,
all right.
I was just a little baby.
Rocket. At some point on this evening, the Coons family, probably watched some fireworks, had some potato salad. They probably all fucked each other because that's what they did. And they returned to their 108-acre property.
108 acres. That is a huge piece of land.
That's a big old shit fest right there, buddy.
Yeah.
They lived in an old farmhouse that was a huge, sprawling, beautiful, steaming pile of hillbilly shit.
Oh, yeah. It was dilapidated.
It was a big old turd, okay? And it wasn't a regular shit. This is the kind of shit that, you have Taco Bell for lunch, and then you get home, and then your wife's like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe we should have, like, some cheesesteak with extra onions and stuff." And you're like, "Oh, God, okay." And then right when you're about to go to bed, your old friend from high school, Billdozer, shows up with a can of fucking Natty Light, and he's like, "Let's drink some fucking beer." So you drink all kinds of Natty Light, and then the next day you go take a shit. And that's what this fucking house looked like.
R.I.P. asshole.
R.I.P. to Rob's asshole. The farmhouse, it had no running water. 1987 was not that long ago, okay?
It really wasn't.
They had stuff then.
Yeah, they just had their good old outhouse.
They didn't. They had no running water, no furnace, and the same oven that they used to cook on was the same oven they used to heat the house with.
They used to just shit in their hands and throw it out the window.
They used to shit in their hands and fuck each other with it. Bunch of weirdos. We'll get there though.
Oh yeah.
Now let's talk about the occupants of this house. They were all four. There were four siblings that lived there. They weren't the only ones that lived there, but the siblings were Irene, who was 82, Clarence, he was 76.
That's a good solid name.
Clarence.
Yeah, I like that.
Clarence Carter. I'll be stroking to the east.
These are all like old school names. I mean, obviously they're older than shit, but I mean, you don't hear. People don't name their daughter Irene or Clarence for their son anymore.
Can't do it.
It's those old names, like they're gone.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So we got Irene. She was 82. We got Clarence. He was 76. Still balls deep and everything. When we got Marie or Mary, I think it's Marie.
It'd be Marie.
Marie. She was age 72, and Helen is the name you need to remember. She was age 70. So we didn't have a single one here that was not a senior citizen.
Yeah,
okay?
they're 70 and above.
They're all old fucks. Two of Helen's kids lived there. That was Kenneth or Kenny.
Yeah.
I like to call him Kenny.
I could say Kenneth.
And Randy. Those were the two boys of Helen. Now, the morning after the fireworks had faded, bottle rockets in the street, snakes and sparklers are all burned out. Yes. The real fireworks occurred, Rob. The real fireworks were not the ones up in the sky. They're the ones going down out the house.
In Clarence's pants.
Yeah. Kenny went into the house, and he found them all eating each other out.
Damn it, Kenny.
This is the end of the story. At some point during the night, all right, someone presumably entered the farmhouse with the illest of intentions. And when I mean illest, I mean illest, okay? That next morning, Kenny discovered Clarence, Marie, that's the Clarence, Marie, and Randy, his brother, the other son, the youngest son, were all lying dead in their respective sleeping spots from gunshot wounds.
Yeah, and I believe that Kenny, if I remember right, Kenny was the only one out of all of them that actually had a job.
Oh yeah, he worked.
He was the only one working. He worked. I think. Did we get into that?
A little bit.
Okay.
He worked at the Kraft macaroni, Kraft cheese factory.
Yeah, he worked at a cheese factory.
He was balls deep in the cheese.
Yes, of course he came home from work and ended up finding them.
But he did have a trailer on the property, and he stayed in the trailer. He didn't live inside with all these fucking mongoloids. Now, one thing that didn't make sense to Kenny and the authorities was Helen, his mother, the 70-year-old, the mother of Kenny, and also the mother of now dead Randy, was nowhere to be found and was missing from the property.
Yeah, and these people are recluses, so they don't leave.
No idea.
They don't leave the house. So the fact that she would not be there is completely out of character and out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Right off the get go, the police directed their focus to Kenny because he was the one. A lot of times, the person that finds them they're normal. Sometimes they're the one.
Yeah, and he was the only one that works. He was the only one I think that probably had a working vehicle.
Actually, no, he was. No, that's not how it went down, and I will get to that. Kenny didn't live in the house, but he did inhabit a trailer on the property. He said, "I'm getting tired. I'm inside, and every time I turn around, someone trying to shove a goddamn fist in my ass. I'm tired of doing it. I'm moving out back. My fucking dumb ass and my comb over and shit." Though a swift questioning was conducted initially, it was determined that Kenny was not, in fact, the killer. He was not the killer.
Darn.
So that would leave the obvious number one suspect to be old Handjob Helen. And I like to call her Handjob Helen because this was a real hands-on fucking job to kill all these people, okay?
Hey-o. Yeah, she blew their brains out and got the fuck out of Dodge.
So we're going to call her old Handjob Helen.
Mm-hmm.
Or Helen Keller. Whatever you want to call her. During the investigative process, it was learned that this small, close-knit community, they knew nothing about the Coons family. So we see them out sometimes, but these motherfuckers don't talk to anyone.
Nobody goes into or to their house.
They're weird. They do weird shit. They smell like stale urine. They smell like shit. They smell like each other's shit because they're all fucking each other. We're glad they're fucking dead. We're so glad they're dead. Want them the fuck out of here. That's not what they said. All the stuff about them being weird and coming around and just not talking to him, that's true.
That's completely true.
But they did not smell like each other's poop from having intercourse from one another.
That's not on the record.
It is not on the record.
Yeah.
They were reclusive hermits that did little to shed light on just what the fuck was going on inside their farmhouse. So when all this news broke and the stuff started coming out about how bad the house was, how nasty these humans were, the community was kind of like shocked a little bit. They said, well, we had no idea, because they honestly had no idea. They didn't know what was going on inside that beautiful sprawling farmhouse with all those cats and dogs. The sheriff of Marathon County, old Leroy Schillinger, or as his friends like to call him, old Leroy Shitslinger, conducted a shoulder-to-shoulder search of the entire property. They had swamps, they had fields, they had forests, there were abandoned cars. They looked up in the sky, they seen where all the crows were congregating. They went to those locations. They were doing everything they could do to locate Helen. They didn't know if she was dead, if she was abducted, if she was hiding. They wanted to fucking talk to Helen. They went a few miles north, south, east, and west of the property. They didn't just restrict the search to the 106 or 108 acre property. They went far beyond that, shoulder to shoulder searches, and that's what they did back then. This is probably a police force of maybe a couple officers and a.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it'd be that many people.
They also seek the help of the FBI, where they used heat sensing planes. Still, nothing was turning up. There wasn't any fresh tread marks anywhere on the property. And to boot here, okay, so that leads you to believe that someone didn't drive up and kill them.
Yeah.
They couldn't find any fresh tread mark or any tread marks that made sense to a vehicle being there that wasn't there prior. And also, Helen didn't drive. She didn't know how to fucking drive. She'd never driven before in her life. Anytime she went to town, her son Randy drove her. Oh God, Rob, this is such a twisting,
it's a
winding shit. My asshole hurts already.
It's an incestuous good time.
I'm gonna pause and save real quick.
All right.
That. Like I said, anywhere she went, old Randy, he was driving her.
Such a good guy.
Do I make you Randy, baby? She oftentimes went to the country corner restaurant, the laundromat, and the local grocery store, and all the merchants that were questioned said that Randy always stayed in the car, and Helen looked like a sad, lonely old woman. She wore like a scarf or a kerchief on her head. I don't know what the fuck they wore back then. I say back then, I was almost alive. I was only a couple months away from being alive, so I talk like this was 100 years ago. But all of the reports that I read referenced them to being stuck in the 1930s. That's kind of how they...
Well, yeah, they had a fucking house with no running water. They had a shit in a hole in the ground out in the...
You ain't never had a casserole until you put your own poop in it.
They're like... They're literally the embodiment of Shrek.
What are you doing in my swamp? Donkey!
He has that outhouse that he's shitting in at the beginning of the movie. Like, this is literally them.
Cooking on a wood stove. Oh, what we eating tonight? Oh, well, first I'm going to eat your pussy, and then we're probably going to have some that raccoon I ran over earlier when I took Mom into town to the laundromat. Oh, Jesus, man. They said she looked sad, lonely, alone, stupid. They said she looked stupid. The birth certificate for Randy was pulled. Now, I'll remind you that Randy is dead. Kenny's still alive. Randy's laying dead at the house.
With his head missing.
Yes. The birth certificate, well, probably not. He was shot with a
22, yeah.
22. Yeah. So it's probably like a BB gun. You got to really get it in there to kill someone with a 22.
Yeah.
The birth certificate for Randy was pulled from the county recorder during the investigation, where it was learned no father was listed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He had an uncle father.
Yeah, hold on. It was during a trip to Weiler's about 3 weeks before the murder. And these are the details that were trickling out during the investigation. There's a little shop in town called Weiler's, and Randy took Helen there 3 weeks before the murder, and Helen bought some .22 caliber ammunition.
Damning.
Which she said, she told Dave Weiler, was for Randy to shoot the blackbirds that had been plaguing the area.
That's racist.
It is racist. Now, while ordering the toaster oven there at the Weiler store, she remarked to Gail Weiler that she was angry at her family. And why was she angry at her family, Rob?
Because they like to watch all them nasty pornos.
She said, these motherfuckers I'm living with, they're watching all these goddamn dirty movies. Quote, dirty movies. She didn't come in, quote, she didn't come in angry or anything like that, said Gail Weiler, who said she found Helen Coons a likable person, but seemed hungry for conversation.
So let's paint this picture, okay? We have a dilapidated shack in the middle of some 108 acres. You have four old fuckers,
old siblings.
Yeah, old siblings.
3 sisters and a brother.
They would gather around their completely trashed and just shitty newspapers and porn collections, just like your Saturday morning cartoons, except they would just sit there and they would just watch nuts to butts.
Hold on. We don't know that for sure yet, Rob. We don't know if that's true. We haven't gotten that far into the story. The last time Randy and Helen were seen together was at 10:30 p.m. during the fireworks in Athens. Now let's go back to the scene of the crime.
Let's go. Take me there.
Kenny was born several months after not necessarily to the scene of the crime, but let's give you a little bit of a background on Kenneth here. He was born several months after the Coons family charged a neighbor with raping Helen, who was then 15. The neighbor, Frank Gums, what's with all those fucking Z names? He was a convicted bootlegger.
He had really tiny teeth.
What are you in for? I'm a bootlegger. What the fuck is a bootlegger? What's a convicted bootlegger?
Let's see here. This is when they maybe it was during Prohibition?
It probably was. The neighbor, Frank Gums, with a Z, was sentenced shortly after Helen gave birth to Kenneth. Gums, 40 years old, died shortly after he served 18 months in prison.
I just want to know somebody that I can call Gums.
Yeah.
What's up, Gums?
I used to know a prostitute named Gums.
Was that the lady at our live show?
Yeah. And it was widely known and widely believed that Clarence, which was Helen's older brother, who was now 80 years old, I believe, somewhere thereabout, was Kenny's father. So the brother and the sister fathered a child, and that's how you get fucking...
We're getting Game of Thrones over here.
That's how you get really low IQs. During very in-depth and interrogating and investigations and interviews, Kenneth talked candidly about seeing Helen and Clarence engaging in sexual activity all the time when he was a child. So he had to watch. Do you call him uncle? Do you call? I think what they found out was that Kenny presumed that Clarence was his father all the way up until this investigation, all the way up until this happened.
Yeah,
he thought Clarence was his dad.
It's literally his entire life.
He's like, I got some bad news for you, buddy. That's not your dad. That's actually your uncle. So that means your mom and your dad are brother and sister. Which that's probably why you got 4 nipples and you only got 2 teeth in there. I'm sure if they cut you open, they could find the rest of them teeth, but you're pretty well fucked up for now. You're about 56 years old now. I wouldn't double back on that now.
What a life. No wonder they didn't bring people over there.
Dude, sometimes I look at my bank account and I'm like, oh, today's not going to be fun. But then I'm like, there's people out there that have it a lot worse, okay?
This is the epitome of it could be worse. This whole story.
Oh, that is such a fucking miserable life.
It's like you hear people say it could be worse, and you're like, oh yeah, you're just saying that. No, it could be worse.
You don't know.
Your only option could be your sister.
My dog shit in the kitchen 7 times this week, Rob. I don't know if they have worms or if they are potentially fucking each other, but I thought I was the end of my rope. This would put me at the end of my rope. If tomorrow my mom and dad set me down, they're like, you know how sometimes you slobber a little bit when you say your F words?
We're actually brother and sister.
It's because we grew up in the same log cabin together. And your mom and your mom and my mom and our dads, they're all related. The family tree, that doesn't fork. That son of a bitch goes straight up in the air. So don't worry about that stuff anymore. You have an answer. So from Helen's remarks, the purchasing of the bullets, we get a clear picture that she was perhaps the killer. He wasn't killing blackbirds.
Nope.
She was intent on killing everyone in the house.
Over porn.
Or was she? She was so fired up over this porn. She said, get this porn the fuck out of my house. We're also seeing that they, I don't know why I put this in my notes here. We're also seeing that they may have been a little closer than we thought.
Okay, yeah.
When police investigate the home, they learn that these people were severe hoarders. There was shit, trash, waste everywhere. Fucking the nastiest way you could think to live.
It's what you would expect when you hear this type of a story.
There were dozens of cats and dogs running free in the house, and they were just shitting all over the place. You know it's bad when you like ring the doorbell and the dog like pokes his head out the door and he's like, hey, are you here to pick all the shit up?
You ring the doorbell and piss just shoots out at you.
I remember there was this joke when I was a kid, and people would be like, oh, you're so poor. I went to your house and I rang the doorbell and a cockroach stuck his head out the window and said ding dong. I used to think that was the fucking funniest joke. I used to think on this little cockroach ride a dune buggy around the house. Just, Mom, can we get one of those? She's like, no, clean up your fucking mess. I just want a cockroach on a dune buggy. That's all I really want.
That's not asking for too much.
No, it's not.
Who doesn't want that?
Now, among the squalor, the filth, the shit, the trash, the Coons family were the proud owners of a television and a VCR. And some of you may not know what a VCR is because they've gone to the wayside. A VCR is what you use to play cassette tapes or video cassette tapes.
Yeah, VHSs.
VHSs. What's VCR stand for, Rob?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Vaginas, chins, and rectums. VCR.
Why do I not know what the fuck VCR stands for?
Video channel recorder.
Okay.
No, it's I don't know. I'm just making that up.
That sounds right. I think it's right. Video something recorder.
Okay. Now they also the family also subscribed to several mail order porn services.
Hey.
Along with mail order nudie magazines. So old Randy, they probably had a golf cart there on their property. And he wrote it out to the mailbox every Wednesday and said, Nudie Magazine Day. Nudie Magazine Day.
Video cassette recorder.
So, yeah.
Why the fuck didn't I don't know. It's Monday.
That's the thing about this is I'm seeing that you and I might be inbred, Rob.
I can't even remember what VCR stands for.
It fucking makes so much sense. The other day, I was trying to help my daughter with her fucking math homework, and I got a nosebleed. She said, what's wrong, Daddy?
You're thinking too hard.
I said, Daddy's dying. Daddy can't do algebra, okay? He's like, what's a prime factor? I said, I have no fucking clue.
5.
You're in the 4th grade.
I don't know.
Do you know what I did in the 4th grade? My mom and dad had back massager, and I held it on my penis for about 3 minutes, and I ejaculated for the first time. She's doing algebra. I was jacking off with a back massager, Rob. I was so broken when it ran out of batteries. And I said, where's the fucking batteries for this thing? My mom said, just use the wall adapter. I said, oh, you can plug this thing into the wall?
My back is hurting so bad.
I broke my fucking back at school today. I shattered my back. And by my back, I mean my dick.
Does nobody care about my posture?
So they're subscribing to several mail order porn services. They got the magazines, they got the video cassette recorders, they got it all. It's all going on at this house. But why would you need that stuff when you got your sister right there? She'll blow you. She'll tickle your balls while she blows you. Through the investigations in the interviews with Kenny, it was learned that Randy and Helen, so Kenny's brother, Randy, and their mom, Helen, they shared a bed with one another. Ooh. I've been really trying, baby. How do you talk dirty to your mom? Like, what do you say?
Let me get in where I came out of.
You remember that one time you were changing my diaper and I got a big old 2-inch boner? What did that do for you? Remember I got a boner with that cloth diaper on me. You put that cloth diaper on me and I about flung that thing off because my boner was so hard. What do you think we should do about that?
I always loved the taste of your milk.
Your milk, woman.
So weird.
Woman, let me tell you something about your milk. I know you got really long nipples, and you're self-conscious about them nipples.
I don't even know where you're going to go with that.
I have nowhere to go.
I'm scared.
I have nowhere to go. I'm trapped in a corner like a fucking rabbit animal.
Just thought of those nipples.
Yeah, they learned that Randy and Helen, they shared a bed. And Randy could drink from her nipples from the other side of the bed because her nipples were so long.
They're like a Stretch Armstrong.
They look like number 2 pencils. Give me some of that graphite in my mouth. Clarence, Marie, and Irene. We haven't talked about Irene very much.
No.
Or Mary.
Marie.
That's Mary.
It's Marie.
Okay, whatever. It's Marie.
Mary's Mary.
They all slept in the living room together. So that's a threesome right there. It's a threesome waiting to happen.
That's it.
The community wasn't, I think they were kind of kept in the dark because they actually rallied around missing Helen. They presumed that she was not the murderer, and they made shirts and buttons that said, "Where's Helen?"
We gotta think of some cool fucking slogans for these t-shirts. Anybody got anything? Oh, I got one. Go ahead and tell us what it is, buddy. Where the fuck is this bitch? Oh, I don't like that one. Next, please. How about Where's Helen? Yeah, let's use that one. Where's Helen? Put him on the goddamn t-shirts.
I hope they had like her face on them and everything and stuff. That'd be really cool.
These shirts, they use Sharpie markers on t-shirts. They knew no fucking screen print shit. They thought she was innocent. They thought she'd been abducted. Now, police, when they were investigating the home during their search warrant, they found somewhere around $22,000 of cash lying around the house during the search. This seemed to weed out the motive of a robbery, or that there was also the possibility that there was a lot more cash taken. So much cash taken, they said, well, fucking leave the $22,000 behind. But the $22,000, it was lying out in the open. It was in drawers that were, right on top. It was in cabinets. It was.
So, going to your next point here, hit that next point real quick.
No, it fucking worked.
Which we talked about. Yeah, exactly. How in the hell are they getting They have $22,000 in cash.
Well,
they don't have running water. Nobody works.
Think about this for a second. They probably all lived off Social Security, possibly, if they'd ever worked in their entire life. 1987, I'm pretty sure Social Security was a thing. I don't know what year that shit started.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but you would think something would be in play.
Ronald Reagan was that motherfucker, I think. That was a fucking OG right there. So if they're all living in this, and they're probably pooling their monthly checks, whether it's welfare benefits, whether it's Social Security, they're probably all pooling their cash together, and that could possibly be the outcome of that. They live off the fucking land, okay? They have no bills because they have no utilities of any type. You plug the fucking back massager into the wall there, and that thing's sitting still, okay? That wasn't like at the Alexander house, where you plug it into the wall and that thing took off like a rodeo, just bucking through the house.
Well, I guess they did have electricity because they had the TV and the VCR.
You're absolutely right. Or they possibly had a generator. Who fucking knows?
That's yeah, I would assume that's probably what they just used the generator just for that specific purpose.
They probably had like a bike generator, and they made fucking Kenny ride it.
Oh, you slow down near the good parts, and I'll fuck your mother so hard that you fucking crossed eye might go straight after I'm done with her. You stupid son of a bitch.
Poor Kitty. He's just out there on that bike all 24/7. Are you guys done yet?
Jesus Christ, how many people are jerking off in there? Hurry up, Randy.
Clarence, come on.
You fucking asshole. Hollywood Stars comes on in 20 minutes.
My legs are hurt. I got a cramp.
Oh my God. The investigation continued for months and months and months with no clear sign of whom the killer was, what Helen, where she was at. There was no motive or any clues to push along a final conclusion or a conviction. So the police were fumbling the fucking ball, just like in every other true crime case we cover.
Yeah, it's always what's either one, it's either police fucking something up and not securing a scene, or two, you have these little towns who aren't used to things like this happening.
Or you genuinely care about the people you're trying to help, and then you find out they're all brothers and sisters and they're all fucking each other.
Yeah, that'd put you off a little bit.
Old Leroy Shitslinger from the sheriff's department's like, oh, I wanted to help these people, but then I walked inside, they got goddamn cats shitting on the floor. I can't walk in there to find anything, any clues, no evidence. They're all in there in the diapers because they fucked the shit out of each other. They got to use it to catch all the secretions and shit. That's who I feel bad for, is the sheriff. Old Leroy Schillinger.
Poor guy. I'm sure he's probably never seen anything like that.
He probably went to the bar or the pub, and when he walked in, his buddies were like, oh, here goes Shitslinger. Did you find old hand job Helen? No, I ain't found her yet. She's out there somewhere. After lots of questions that's a bit of a typo there. A lot of questions would remain unanswered until the dead body of Helen Coons was discovered in a frozen creek. That's right. Helen was not killed in the house. She was not the killer. She was discovered in a creek, a frozen creek, approximately 17 miles away, with the same bullet wound as all the other people, deceased. So, although there were some questions answered, a lot more questions would remain unanswered at this point. So they're back at square one. She was shot in the head, but through their investigations, their diligent investigations, police were led to a local dickhead and troublemaker named Chris Jacobs III.
And if I think I remember right, going back on her talking about Helen, I think it took them like almost 9 months or something like that before they found her.
9 months precisely.
Yeah, before they actually found her body.
Well, she was on a shallow grave. The person buried her. It was 17 miles from the house, so
it's wild.
Yeah. The culmination of this investigation led to Chris Jacobs III. In recent months, it was found out that Chris had made contact several times with the Coons family in reference to purchasing some vehicles that were on the property. Some reports I read said that he actually did make an exchange with the Coons family for some vehicles. He did buy some vehicles, but he was just a local dairy farmer. And the Coons family had dozens of just vehicles sitting on this property. So there's no telling. Maybe was the means of their money. They were just, Facebook marketplace in that bitch. Just
it could have been.
Yeah. You ever see some of the stuff for sale on Facebook Marketplace?
No, it's terrifying.
I got this trampoline with a big hole in the middle of it. My kid died on it. I'm trying to sell it for $20. OBO. Come and get it. I will not help load.
That's usually about how it goes.
Smoke-free, bug-free. Dead body underneath of it. We gotta move it to get my kid.
25 with the body.
It was believed that Chris was the only non-family member to interact with the family on any type of regular, I guess. He was the only one that had talked to them.
Yeah, he's just the only outsider that, that they could tie.
So naturally, they tied it to him. I wish somebody'd tie me up. Wink, wink, Stacy. And Chris was known as a car thief. He was a piece of shit that kind of got into everyone's stuff. People hated him, but he was known as a thief. He was known as being dishonorable. He was not a very trustworthy person. So he fit the mold for what they were looking for. The police eventually gathered enough evidence to bring Chris Jacobs III to trial for the murder of the Coons family, being charged with four charges of murder there. Well, yes.
Justice?
4 charges of murder. So we've reached the climax of our story. Just kidding.
Yeah.
They said that Chris assisted an unknown party in the murder, so they had no fucking clue who Chris helped. But they said, we got a pretty good feeling that he had somebody with him. And with him he did. They never found anyone else or never charged anybody else with the crime. But they did charge Chris, and the story that they were using the prosecution was using, that he had someone with him, and he helped, and they worked together to commit the murders. They think that, he was there several times. He knew that there were several cash transactions that he had made with them. Possibly, they believe that he had maybe seen inside the house, or that one of the family members had flashed some cash around him. So this turd burglar right here, he knew that the family had a lot of money, that they had a lot of cash on hand. There couldn't be any easier of a target to fucking steal from.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all fucking 80.
It's the perfect crime.
They can't walk because their asses and vaginas are wallered out from having sex with one another. So all you gotta do is push them down, and you take the money and you run. But they did eventually find tire tracks that were similar to the tires on Jacob's car. And at this point, you're thinking the police are possibly making this up, because at first they're like, nope, no tire tracks.
No tire tracks whatsoever. And then they find some?
Then they find some questionable tire tracks. They tie them to, they say these might be from Chris's vehicle. So they tie those tire tracks to Chris. The one damning thing for Chris, he had no alibi on the night in question. That's when
you done fucked up.
For those of you listening to the Brohio podcast, if you are looking to commit a murder, you have to have an alibi.
Yeah.
I recommend getting a cardboard cutout and putting it on a RC car and driving it in front of a surveillance camera somewhere, just like back and forth. So you're just like, you're just floating by on
some real Home Alone stuff right there.
Yes.
He puts it on that little train track.
Get out of here, you little jerk, before I slap you silly. Yeah. It was also discovered that Chris Jacobs, owned a .22 caliber rifle. There it is. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. No. Chris Jacobs' lawyer argued that he was home by 11 p.m. on the night of the murder, so there's no way he could have possibly driven Helen to the swamp, killed her, buried her, and driven home all within a half an hour, because if you recall earlier in the story, they were spotted last at the fireworks display at 10:30 p.m. He was home by 11, so there's no way he could have done all that in a half hour, which I do believe. I believe very much.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you can't just say, I was home, because if no one can vouch for that, then
who fucking knows?
Exactly. You're fucked. You have no alibi.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit at that point.
But then forensics confirmed that none of the weapons in Jacob's arsenal were used in the murder. So we have a missing murder weapon. Chris Jacobs was acquitted on the murder charges, and he was a free man. Free at last! Free at last! He got the fuck out of there. So here we are again with no suspect, no direction for this investigation, and a bunch of dead cousin, uncle, brother, daughter fuckers laying around. We got no one to pay for these mistakes that have been committed right here, these devious acts, these murders. No one has to pay for this shit, Rob.
Somebody does.
Enter Brett Favre. The prosecution argued he was only after the money, and that something happened somewhere, something went awry, and he said, I have to fucking kill these people.
We're not talking about Brett Favre anymore, though.
No, we're talking about Chris Jacobs. This is the prosecution's
Just want to make sure.
argument. No, definitely talking about Brett Favre.
Okay.
He said that he was only after the money, something went wrong, and he had to fucking kill some people.
Yeah, it happens. We've all been through it.
And then you can't make this shit up.
No.
You can't plan for this. In comes the scorned, pissed off girlfriend, Stacy Weiss. And she was the girlfriend of Chris Jacobs at the time.
Hell hath no fury.
They had since broken up, and Stacy went to the authorities. She didn't go to the authorities. The authorities went to her because she was picked up in a robbery. She was an ex-girlfriend, and they used that paired with a new enhanced view of the tire tracks from the FBI. She said that Chris admitted to her during a long drive that he in fact committed the murders.
Yeah, that he told her that he did.
And solely based off that piece of testimony, and the fact that they had a little better, I guess, opinion on the tire tracks from the FBI, they charged Chris again. But in the United States of America, you can't be charged for the same crime twice.
Nope.
So what do we do here? Charge him with, drunk in public, a little disorderly conduct, possession of less than a gram of marijuana. What do we charge him with? Excuse me. Now, the girlfriend, she was being charged with accessory to robbery in an unrelated incident in Minnesota. She said, wait. Before you take me to jail and I get my fucking shit pounded out, because you may not think it happens in women's prison, but it does.
Oh, yeah.
They melt down Jolly Ranchers into the shape of a dick, and I've confirmed this with female correction officers, and they fuck each other with it. I think that sounds like fun. I love Jolly Ranchers.
Leaves a good aftertaste.
I love making love to my wife. I'm going to present this idea to her. Say, hey.
Let me know how that goes.
There was the article I saw last week about the woman that was leaving fruit in her vagina all day, and their husband was eating the fruit out of her vagina at the end of the day.
Oh, man, that's love.
That is disgusting.
That is love.
Have you ever let a banana sit out for longer than like 20 minutes? That thing turns into the biggest wad of death.
Same thing happens when you bite into an apple.
An apple?
You bite into an apple and you leave it there for like 5 minutes and it's brown.
Oh, I gotta pee. And you come back and there's fucking bugs on it and it's brown. How the fuck? There's no bugs in here.
Good old squishy banana.
Yeah. But after the charges were dropped on Stacy Weiss, she provided a confession to the police for Chris.
She's singing. She's a canary.
Now, Chris didn't provide a confession. Stacy provided a confession for him. That seems fair.
Loyal.
This sounds like some Netflix shit. She said that while they were driving one day, Chris confessed to the murders, all of them in great detail to her. Thanks to the double jeopardy, he could not be charged again. One day, Rob Dog, before the statute of limitations ran out, charges were brought against him and he was arrested. This was 11 years later in 1998. Therefore, the police conjured up kidnapping and false imprisonment charges that landed Chris a guilty conviction, and he was sentenced to 31 years in prison. And these charges were solely related to Helen.
Yeah.
There was nothing else they could charge him with for the deceased brothers and sisters and Randy. They had to do the kidnapping and false imprisonment, and that's the absolute, I think the longest sentence he could have received for the kidnapping was 25 years, but somehow he got 31 years out of this, and he wasn't sentenced until 11 years after the fact. So that was in 1998. He's definitely still in the in the fucking pokey right now.
Can you imagine sitting there thinking, like, if you did do it and you're like, man, I got away with it, I'm not going away. 11 years later, you get fucking slapped and thrown in.
Police, open up.
The cheese delivery. Jesus. Now, a car, we're playing devil's advocate here. We got a bunch of different ways that there's alternative theories here.
Yeah.
I should say.
Yes.
There was the possibility that something else could have went wrong besides what they think happened. There was a website that I went to that I got this research from. I think it's Chris Jacobs innocent or wrongful conviction or something like that. So they're obviously on Team Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a car was seen parked at an intersection only about 100 feet from the crime scene on the night of the murder. The car was facing away from the house in the direction that Kenny Coons would normally have come home. A woman stopped at the intersection facing the parked car on the opposite side. As she drove through, the driver of the car blinded her with a light in her face so she couldn't see who was in the car.
Yeah, because she just thought it was suspicious because there was, someone just sitting there.
Yes. Now, Kenny, like we said before, he worked at the fucking Kraft cheese factory. That's what he had going on, man.
Good for him.
But
man.
As she passed the car, the car turned to follow her. But as she passed the Coons house, the car slowed, did a U-turn, and went back in the direction of the Coons house. The car did not match the description of Jacob's car. So there's that little nugget of information. Kenny Coons' younger brother, Randy. So Randy was the one who was sleeping with Mom, fucking her up. Fucking her up.
Hey.
It's said that he had been making extra money by occasionally selling drugs. Now, in my travels that I've done over the years, usually a drug dealer is not a fucking inbred recluse that sleeps in and shares a bed with his fucking mom. Usually a drug dealer is a fucking alpha male. Not in a lot of instances, but
when you're running into like this type of situation where you have a tiny town, I mean, who knows?
Who knows? And obviously he was inbred too as well. That's what I would probably presume. The defense's theory was that Randy had planned to meet his suppliers that night and give them payment for the drugs he had sold. Unfortunately, Randy had enlisted the help of his other brother Kenny to sell some of the cheese factory where Kenny worked.
I just love cheese factory.
Yeah, you gotta get this cheese to get that cheese, motherfucker.
That's so great.
Kenny did have large amounts of cash that night because he bought some drinks at a local bar and then bought several shopping bags of fireworks.
Woo! You're about to get this goddamn bottle rocket shoved all the way up your dick hole.
Because it's freedom time, motherfucker. Kenny was below average intelligence, and locals figured that he had stopped to buy some fireworks, and the sellers of the fireworks, seeing all of Kenny's cash, sold out their inventory to him. So they said, you know what, buddy? You can have all the Roman candles you want.
You need some of these, some of these.
You like these Roman candles right here? You like these?
I like the loud noises and the flashing lights. You got any whistling devils I can get in there? I need something that goes boom really loud.
As a matter of fact, we've got $6,000 worth of whistling devils, Kenny. Give me that money and you can be on your way. Now, the theory is that seeing all that cash, they sold out their inventory to him, and it would have been like taking candy from a baby to get to go and take the shit. Now, Kenny, realizing too late what he had done and fearful that his brother would get angry, decided to drive back to the cheese factory and sleep the night in his car, facing his brother in the morning. Meanwhile, Randy had driven his mother, Helen, home from the fireworks show and was waiting near the house for Kenny to show up with Kenny's share of the money needed to pay his suppliers. When Kenny did not show up, they took Randy and his mother, Helen, hostage and waited at the intersection for Kenny to come home. After it was clear that Kenny wasn't coming home and losing patience and knowing that the Coons family kept a large roll of cash in the house, the drug suppliers took Randy in with them to get it. Unfortunately, a fight broke out and the suppliers killed everyone, so there would be no witnesses. Running back to their car where they still had Helen, they drove her to a remote swamp where they killed her and left her body.
And just to touch on it again, this is an alternate theory.
This is an alternate theory, yes. But this
paints a pretty vivid picture, though.
It definitely makes sense.
It seems plausible.
Now, the time frame was, I guess, that's the topic of debate here. Randy and Helen were at a nearby fireworks display that didn't end until about 11 p.m. Chris's mother was able to confirm that Chris came home that night at 11 o'clock and helped with the birthing of a cow, Rob Dog. There was not enough time for Chris to have committed the murder. There was also no incriminatory evidence other than the tire mark. The tires are remarketed by a number of tire manufacturers and were fairly common in the area under different names. There were no fingerprints or footprints at the scene, and Chris's car had no blood stains or any evidence that Helen or Randy had ever been in the car. At the second trial, witnesses were reluctant to testify for the defense after a witness at the first trial was apparently harassed by law enforcement.
Oh
my God. And to go back even longer, as if this family wasn't fucked up enough.
Yeah, this is like the beginning of the family.
Anna and Ignatz, yes, that was their father's name, was Ignatz or Ignatz Coons, another Z name, Ignatz, Now, this was the parents of Helen, Irene, Clarence, and Marie. Right? Okay.
Good job.
They had experienced similar trauma early on in their marriage. In December of 1905, they were living with Ignat's mother, Mary, in a home in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. One night, Anna returned home from work to discover that Ignat's brother, Wenzel...
These are classic names.
Another Z name.
Wenzel.
Hey, Wenzel, get in here and clean your fucking mess up, you fuck. Ignat's brother, Wenzel, had bludgeoned their mother, Mary, to death in her bed.
Aw.
So this is a long, drawn out, I haven't got a fucking clue who did this.
A family with a lot of history of suffering and loss and mother, brother, uncle fucking.
Rob, I do not think Chris Jacobs committed this murder.
I don't know. I think that I find the drug theory to be very, very compelling.
That is very compelling because dude,
the hordes of cash, that explains that.
That's the root of all evil too.
Yeah, unless they're slinging porn instead of drugs.
Gotta get that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that fits perfectly.
I think that,
but the thing is that there's really no corroborating evidence,
and it's upsetting for me that there's possibly a guy sitting in prison right now for the rest of his life, knowing the kind of shit that he's going through. So this is the heartless Nicolicious coming at you here.
Devil's advocate here.
These fucking people that were killed, they only meant something to one another. So that has to weigh on the fact that, okay, we think this guy might have murdered these people. We're not 100% sure. But it should also be known that these fucking people only relied on one another and they were miserable. Why they were even still alive from living in cat shit and dog piss, I haven't got a fucking clue. But that should have at least played a part, Rob Dog. They should be like, I don't know. But that's the beauty of the justice system. If you did the crime, you pay the motherfucking time in America, okay?
It's really sad to think that anybody that would have given a shit about them being dead ended up being dead. It's sad.
Well, then I've seen the videos of, I guess, the trial proceedings.
Uh-huh.
And there were family members there to support Kenny. So
yeah.
Kenny didn't ask for this situation. Kenny had a fucking job. Kenny lived in a trailer, not in the house. Kenny probably wasn't having sex with his mother. Kenny seemed pretty normal. So I guess in that aspect, I'm happy that someone was brought to justice for this. Ultimately, I do not think that the correct person was brought to justice.
I would agree.
But for Kenny's sake, I'm glad that someone had to face the music for this. So that's the story of the Coons family massacre. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Juicy one.
We threw this one together at the last minute so we could have something besides the live show to release for you guys. I'm glad we did it. Rob's going to go home and eat.
I cannot wait. I haven't eaten at all today.
My family's going to come home and eat. Well, I was also thinking we normally go a lot longer than just an hour.
Yeah.
So we should throw an animal fight at him real quick.
Okay. Let's take a second. Let's pause it. Let's think of one. Let's each think of one.
Okay. All right. Hey, we're back. We got some animal fights coming for you. Animal fights.
I'm going to let you go first.
The animal fight that I have is a chimpanzee versus a polar bear, Rob.
Ooh. Polar bear, man.
Whoa. You got to think about it for a minute. Think about this.
They're the meanest of the bears.
Global warming. Have you seen the polar bears in the fucking Arctic right now?
They're like Kate Moss.
Them motherfuckers look like they're on the goddamn keto diet. They're slim and trim.
But in that instance, though, meat's meat, man.
What's that one episode we did where the chimpanzee ripped her fucking face off and
yeah.
stole a tow truck?
That was our 911 episode, I think.
Yeah.
Smoking cigarettes and...
Yeah, I'm talking about like a beefed up fucking steroid, like Planet of the Apes chimpanzee.
If we're talking hand-on-hand combat, I'm still taking the polar bear.
Dude.
But if we're talking like obstacles and like fucking trees and shit I mean it's like
these are fought in an octagon, Rob. These are fought. I
gotta go polar bear.
Dude,
they're so big.
But okay, here's my thing. A chimpanzee, he's gonna have some fucking agility, okay? Where a polar bear, he's gonna wear you out when he gets those teeth on you.
I mean, I'll usually always pick anything with opposable thumbs because
exactly.
they can use weapons. It comes through with a katana.
What if he picks up a fist pack, like a roll of pennies
or a rock?
Yeah, and just fucking launches it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like in a Hunger Games arena where there's like weapons and shit in the middle, then yeah,
chimpanzee.
But
Rob and I, the high school we went to, we were polar bears,
mm-hmm.
and polar bears are my absolute favorite animal in the entire world.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're majestic
beautiful
creatures. I'm going with the fucking polar bear, Rob.
That's what I say.
I think he would bend that chimpanzee over and fuck it so hard, and then he would bite its neck off, and then he would feed it to the seals because he's the king of the fucking ice. Okay.
Hey.
Who the fuck is Elsa and Anna? The frozen king is who I'm after. That's the polar bear.
That's what's up. I agree.
All right.
But I appreciate you playing devil's advocate there with the whole fighting me on my answer.
All right.
All right, here's mine. I'm going mythical on your ass.
All right.
We're going to go a kraken,
a crackhead,
crackhead, a kraken, or a dragon.
You said kraken, right? Not like a crackhead.
Not a crackhead.
Not like a crackhead.
Yeah.
It's kraken. All right, so here's the thing. A kraken, he's going to be wild, dude.
Fuck yeah.
If he's just going to be moving all over the place, and the dragon's going
and let's take water out of the equation because obviously it's a
this
water.
This is fought in the octagon, Rob. We've
Yeah.
already established this. This is fought in the octagon.
So this is to say that it's going to sit there and breathe all the air, and it's going to be cool. The dragon can still fly around,
Okay, I forgot the dragons could fly.
and they can breathe fire.
All right, so I seen a picture of a fucking kraken holding a goddamn pirate ship up in the air
Yeah,
before.
exactly.
Dragons couldn't even put Harry Potter down.
That's very true.
And he wore glasses. I gotta go with the kraken because that kraken is gonna be able to sustain several instances of being struck with the fire. Okay,
Yeah.
one breath of fire is not gonna fuck this kraken up, but
It'll hurt it. It won't feel good.
right. That kraken's only gonna be able to get its nipples on that dragon one time, and when it does, it's gonna wrap it up and it's just gonna fucking kill it.
I would agree. I would assume that with all the fucking tentacles and it has the strength, it might be able to just pluck that little thing out of the air like
Take
a
it
little
down.
mosquito.
Take it the fuck down.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'd pay money to see that fight though.
Yeah. My name's Bill Wilkins and I'm 73 years old and I died my own shit. I'm here to talk to you about the crackhead lady that was at your live show.
Yeah. Do you guys go back at all? Like, do you know her from before the show?
I was at my apartment and I was having some Miller High Life. And I said I'm going to go down to the brewery and watch those stupid fucks from Ohio. And I'm going to look for me some swamp donkeys. I was sitting in the corner, Rob. You couldn't see me.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, honestly, yeah.
And then I walked in, and there she was, sitting in the front row with her black wings. She had them bloody knees hanging out. And I just knew from the start that those knees are bleeding because she liked to get fucked doggy style. And I said, that's the swamp donkey for Bill Wilkins. And that's why she settled down at the end of the night. Because she wandered by the corner and I showed her my big old demon dick. She said that was a nice dick.
Was Thud with you by any chance?
Who the fuck is Thud?
Okay, we'll have to introduce you.
I said, take one good look at this demon dick right here, because this is the last dick you're ever going to see. You know what she did, Rob?
I don't. What did she do?
She took my fucking wallet. She left me there with a hard demon dick. Lying on my cot.
Sorry to laugh.
I don't have a bed, I have a cot. I don't like cock, but I sleep on a cot.
All right, I was getting those two confused myself, so I'm glad you specified.
Fucking Bill Wilkins. Always popping up.
I know. I love when he just pays us these little visits.
With nothing nice to say.
Never.
I have something nice to say. Thank you so much. We love you.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. It's awesome.
We appreciate you listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
And for people that came out to our free show, thank you. It was an awesome meeting all you guys.
I can't wait to meet everyone next week.
Yes.
Next week at the Firehouse
Look at you.
Grill.
I can't wait to eat their food.
I can't wait to eat you. I can't wait to eat Jerry Polly.
I bet he tastes good.
They call him Jerry Polly the Baldy because he gets the Brazilian wax down there. Check that out, would you?
Carpets match the drapes.
All right. I love you guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.